Okay, thank you, Jim. Because of the tremendous popularity of the War Years On Location and On the Road series, and because of your many emphatic and overly excited requests, I am now embarking on a second journey, this time to my old hometown of Cowpea, Virginia. For those of you who would like to locate Cowpea, Virginia on the map, or who, for example, would like to find it on the computer over the internets, Cowpea is spelled C-O-W-P-I-E. Virginia is spelled V-I-R-G-I-N-I-N-I-A. We will see many sights on this journey, and I hope you will bear with me as I am frequently overcome by emotions more powerful than you can understand. Also, frequently by a bladder disorder, which I am having trouble controlling as we speak. This used to be my father's distillery and the source of my family's vast wealth. You can see the wheel, which was used to ground the barley, which was subsequently turned into our family's private brand of whiskey. Our fortune suffered a tremendous blow at the time of the slave revolt. This distillery became owned by the Knox family at that time. The Knox family was a family of slaves. In fact, the Knox family had belonged to our family as our family's slaves. When the slave revolt occurred, my father, befuddled and drunken by this creek next to his prized distillery, was taken by surprise and tied up by the members of the unruly Knox slave family. For 3.5 years after their revolt, we were pressed into hard labor, brutally beaten, whipped, and sometimes raped by those distinguished members of the Knox slave clan. This location contains both happy and terrible memories for me. This is all that is left of the stables in which I lived and resided as a small boy. You can see from the horseshoes on the walls that still remain here even to this day that there were no horses inside of this stable. This is my bed. My father, when I was a small boy, joked often of my bed resembling a tiny coffin. His style of witticism never appealed to me. My bed was subsequently subdivided into 3 equal compartments for the triplets. Sadly, the triplets did not survive. This was the family outhouse, renowned in the Commonwealth of Virginia for its size and splendor. You can see the number of interesting articles designed to assist the concentration during those times when the juices did not flow as perhaps they should have. This was our family's chamber pot, lovingly restored by the park rangers who now assist with this establishment's upkeep.
The lives of families are often tragic. My father was a distinguished member of the community. Before he took to drinking, he was a builder. A sternly religious man. This is my father's effort to build an ark with which we and the rest of the chickens could survive the flood. As you can see from its clever design, the family was to reside in the upstairs, and 2 of each members of the animal kingdom would be fitted into these flotation tanks on the downstairs. The walls were built in a porous fashion. You can see that the water was able to creep inside each of the flotation tanks. When the flood came, unfortunately, they were condemned to die as a result. Evidence of the flood can be seen in the surrounding countryside. For example, in the terrible carnage done to this tree, which, as you can see, still lingers on after the flood. This is Abolitionist's Lake, so named by my old father with his peculiar sense of humor. My father was not fond of black people. Frequently, he employed them as slaves. My father often said that dark figures would visit him in his dreams. Thus resulted his particular aversion to those of the Negroid persuasion. In fact, some members of the Knox family are still out in this lake, where we left them when we regained control of the family farm and its belongings.
I have never been fond of chickens. In my entire life, I can count on one thumb the number of chickens I have counted among my friends. I hope you have enjoyed this journey as much as I have. Although I do not recollect most of the journey up to now at this point and at this time, I feel as if a tremendous burden has been lifted from my shoulders. Thanks again, and toodaloo.